all just mired in routine. So, and then you sort of have that, and then you have, these little instances where, yes, or maybe this is maybe she is imagining things, but Claire, is looking a little bit, Claire, who is already promiscuous and who probably has already
she admitted saying she would do anything to get what she wants.
Yeah,
so
and she likes Brian, and she's already straight out of the marriage. At least it's been insinuated that she's already straight out of her marriage before. She's already cheated on her husband before. So
everything kind
of
seems...
I'm just saying you have a very, very happy confluence of events here, and I'm saying that, whereas Irene is a conflicted character in that she does have a lot of psychological complexity, is she really making this stuff up? I mean, she said that she sees like moments where they feel like they have a connection, and Brian seems to, by the way, loosen up gradually about his opinion of Claire. He seems to gradually keep going.
Usually when someone meets someone, if you don't like them, over time, you could see the good side. And Irene was the one pushing him to like her. So in the end, this would be her fault. She pushed them together. She didn't want to go out with them. And I don't know. I still feel like...
But then, I mean, so you still have here, though, Brian, the only reason that Brian would not do it is, like, if you could say for sure that, well, he's a devoted father and husband and he would never do this, right? But
I also think, look at the fact that and Irene can be perceived as white in the book, and sometimes too, she is higher society, but Brian is just as much a part of that. He wants to leave America and go to Brazil, probably another reason because he wants better for his life.
But as a black man, though.
Yes, as a black man, but
Irene doesn't always want what's good for herself as a black woman. She sometimes just wants what's good for herself as a woman.
But in general, so Brian wants, either way, whether as a black man or a white man, he wants what's best for himself, and I can't see him going to Brazil and getting a lifestyle. He would be satisfied with a lifestyle worse than what he has now. Like, he is just as much in this uppity kind of situation as Irene is. He's not going to lower his standards in any way, so he probably wants security to a certain extent just as much.
Maybe, but he doesn't seem to... But I mean, there are clearly passages in the book where Irene remarks on Brian's sort of sense of adventure.
Yes, absolutely.
So there are points in the book of that. But so here you go. You got, a guy who's unhappy with his marriage right now, pissed off that he feels like that he's got to live in America, and, pissed off with routine. It seems like a little bit of a malaise has set in, sort of, which, happens generally in a marriage. And in walks this sultry, sexy, sort of adventurous and kind of impulsive woman. And, we're constantly going to events together, just together, not without the wife. Yes. I'm just saying, like, can we connect the dots here? And I would say that the only reason I would see to say that, no, he's not, is because he's a devoted husband and father and he's a good person. He would really do that, but he doesn't seem, I feel like he doesn't profess his love, like, profusely for Irene. He doesn't give us any impression that he really, 100% is in this marriage and would see that as a complete violation.
She doesn't show her true devotion to him either. I mean, like you said, they're in this period of their marriage, I feel like most people get to. Once you've been together so long, you don't have to show your affection continuously. You just know it's there. And when he goes with Claire, I mean, what are they doing? We have no real proof of, anything that's going on. I don't think that he would do that. Another reason, if he
But why don't you think that he would have an affair?
Well, for one reason, as you said, he is a devoted husband, and
I was saying that I didn't see anything in the book that really indicated that he was an exceptionally devoted husband or father.
I think he's definitely an exceptional father. He wants what's best. He wanted to tell his sons
he
about
wants what's best for his
sex,
kids. But I mean,
races.
but with Irene, I mean, there's no where's the love
fire?
There? Where's the love? Where's the fire? Where's anything of that? There's no. I mean, Irene says Irene even says things like Brian was a very, very handsome man, but I wonder if he wasn't black, if he would just be ordinary. So, she's...
You always have a wonder. I mean, I feel like...
I know, but I'm just saying, this is not the talk of a woman or a man who are deep in the throes of love. It seems like they're people...
He said that. Yeah. They're just not.
They're not,
he is sick of monotony of life, and her social... of Irene being a sociopath, trying to rule his life the way she wants.
Irene, right? Well, yeah, wanting to do things her way,
Yeah.
and so, but here I'm saying is, he wants adventure. He want. I mean, this is a typical story of like a man sort of like going through like a middle-age crisis or whatever, caught in a marriage that he's not really that happy with at the moment or something like that, and caught in a country, caught in a job that he doesn't like and everything. But in walks this, a sexy, sultry woman that you wrote off a little too quickly, and who does embody that sort of sense of adventure that you've been yearning for.
But still, if he's this devoted black man, then why would he go for Claire if he's
Because I'm
so
saying
dominant
maybe he's cheating, but maybe he's cheating with Claire. Claire being a black woman.
But he's not. I feel
Claire
like that
white
distinction's very
woman.
clear. Like she's married to a white man. She looks so much white. Yeah.
But that still doesn't justify someone cheating on his wife or.
No, I'm not saying it justifies it. I'm just saying though, like I mean, is Irene's worries here just completely made up? I mean, does she have like no? I mean, I'm essentially making an argument that Irene, could connect the dots a little bit.
Right.
I'm saying that Irene can look at all of the signs here, and she could say like, well, are her suspicions warranted? I'm sort of saying, yeah, they kind of are. I think, I just don't think there's enough evidence to show that Brian is this upstanding man who would always be devoted and faithful to his wife.
There's no evidence to show that he would cheat. Although there's this connecting of the dots where they had gone out together. Again,
they've gone out together. The loosening of his opinion on Claire.
But I feel like that's what happens in general over time when you get to know someone.
Yeah, but also, but he definitely accompanies Claire. I mean, then this is all through Irene's eyes, so we don't know.
Exactly.
So we don't know then.
More
but
than that, you said that is he with her, like seeing her as a black woman. But I mean, as a reader, I consistently viewed Claire as pretty much a white woman, and I feel as Brian would see her in the same way because she looks very white. She's married to a white man. She's completely rejected his ideas, and why would he ever go for a woman like that when he is so dominant on being a part of black society? He's an African American. Like, all her views are so contrary to that. Why would he go for someone who is white, even though she's not? But
that's what I was sort of getting at,
From the beginning of the book, Claire does look like the antagonist, but once, as you said, as we get to know people, get to know them better. We look at her that she might be the victim instead of the aggressor, So, Brian having an affair with Irene would be justified.
With Claire.
It would be ironic justice in kind of a way.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
saying
that
Claire's part,
right? And I'm saying I think it would just. I think it would. The reason why I think that Nella Larson maybe would hint at this a little bit is because I feel like it adds a whole nother layer, a whole nother complexity to the novel, and I think it's just more interesting if you see it as him having an affair.
A poor woman's worries about society and
maybe
race
I guess.
And trying...
I guess I maybe just find it. It could just be me. I could just find it less interesting.
I think it's for interpretation.
I could just, I guess. I mean, I could just find it less interesting to think of, Irene just being this completely 100% unreliable narrator who's just cooking up figments of her imagination, and that is just supposed to be, this idea of the affair is just supposed to add a little bit more flames to that fire. It's supposed to help, characterize, her sort of unreliable narrative structure a little bit better. I guess I find it more interesting to say, well, Brian, I guess it makes Brian and Claire just a little bit more complex as characters.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think it makes transitions to the whole novel, how it ends, how you interpret it.
And I think it's, interesting, and I think, Brian, I don't really know. I guess I'm saying that as Brian, I would, not saying it's right, but I'm saying I guess I would understand where Brian would be coming from if
So do you think it would be justified?
I don't know if I would go as far as justified. I mean, but I would say it's understandable. I would say it's very understandable.